call with one of our clients last week, and when she came on the call, she was extremely flustered, stressed, and overwhelmed. And she's only just started the program, so I knew it wasn't the program, I knew it was external. And immediately I had to think on my feet and change the entire agenda of the call to try and figure out exactly what was going on with her. So when we started to speak, I got to know her a little bit more, and I realized that the reason why she's so stressed, in fact, she shared with me, she said, Pam, look, I'm a single mom, I'm working around the clock, I have a couple of businesses, yet I'm not making my ideal income. I'm not making the amount of money that I want to make, hence why, of course, she joined the program. But she said, Pam, I'm really struggling to even find time to complete the tasks simply because I am worked off my feet as it is. And it really got me thinking about 2020 and how 2020 was the year that the entire world literally was shaken at its core. And even though we all worked really hard, a lot of people felt like they were pushed to their extreme limits. And yes, you might have heard people share with you that, everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. Bill Gates has 24 hours in a day, and so do you. And so what is the core difference? But the truth of the matter is that not all 24 hours in a day are equal, right? The way you use your 24 hours is very different to the way I use mine. And so sometimes it's really not about the time that we have. So when I was speaking with this client, I really, really resonated 100% with what she was sharing with me, because I was there, worked off my feet. And so I said to her, so what you're really asking is, Pam, how do I design my life so that it works for me? And she said, yes. And here is the truth. What I want to share with you is that oftentimes people hit the ages of 30, 40, 50, 60 and look back and realize that there are so many regrets. There are so many things that have been left on the table. There are so many areas that they really could have crushed it. There are so many goals that they could have reached. There are so many businesses they could have started and the career that they could have had. They get to that certain age and they look back and they start to wonder, where did all that time go? So today, I wanted to share with you my personal process for what I call scripting the direction of my life. And this is a process that I used pretty much in my late 20s, and now I'm in my early 30s, and it has worked incredibly well for me. So I want to share my process with you so that you too can design the life that you want and begin to earn your ideal income. Hey guys, I'm Pam Obasa, the founder of The Lucrative Lady, and I help time-poor moms earn their ideal income. Now, how do you do that? I truly believe that it begins by designing your life. And no matter when you catch this, it doesn't matter. You can start from now, today, as you watch this, to take the steps to actually go ahead and design your life. Now, how exactly do you do that? Well, I believe that in order to have your life go forth in the direction that you want it to go, designing your life comes in 3 parts. So part 1 is what I call the master plan. The master plan is that vision that isn't restricted by anything. It's not restricted by the pandemic. It's not restricted by any illness. It's not restricted by any fears. It's just the wide vision that you have. That is part 1. And then part 2 are what I call your action steps. Your action steps are those things that you do on a daily basis, right? What are the things that you are going to be doing every single day so that you can go ahead and achieve that big vision, that master plan, which you created to begin with? And then part 3 is the consistency. For a habit or actions to be embedded in you so that, it's just a part of your fabric, it's just a part of who you are, you've got to do it over and over and over again to the point where it is consistent. Now, I truly believe that achieving your goal is one of those things where you know that life is going to knock you, as it did in 2020, and it knocked millions of people to their core, life is going to happen. So I'm not saying that it's not going to happen, but you want to get to a place where whether life is happening or not, you are able to, yes, you're going to get knocked, you're going to fall, and you are going to get back up again. That is the big difference. And if you do not have that big master plan, that big vision that I talked about, the action steps to go with that, and of course the consistency that helps you to build up that muscle so that you're constantly achieving your goals, it becomes very, very easy to stay down when you are knocked down. So that is what I want to break down for you today, those exact steps. And to help you to really achieve this in planning and designing your life, I have created a worksheet, which is our Life by Design worksheet that really breaks down everything that I'm sharing with you. And if you look in the description of this video, you will be able to find that sheet and download it and begin to use it to map out your life. So let's get started with part one. So what is part one? Part one is that master plan. That master plan is your big vision, right? Do you remember when you were a child and you had these incredible visions? When I was a child, I was, oh my goodness, I was unstoppable. I was this girl that you couldn't tell me anything. I always, in my mind, I knew I was destined to be on stage. I knew without a shadow of a doubt that I would be great. I knew that I would get to speak to millions of people. At some point in my mind when I was a child, I saw my name in lights, and nothing that you could tell me would make me believe otherwise. And that is the most incredible thing, because as children, children haven't been knocked, they haven't been bruised, they haven't really tasted the downsides of life and the downward spiral that as a grown-up you might have experienced. And so children are really great at building this big picture visions. Well, what I'm encouraging you to do with your master plan is to go back to being a child. So how do you do that? Well, I want you to answer this one question, and that is, if you could wave a magic wand, right? Let's imagine it's 5 years from today, and you could wave a magic wand, and when you wave that wand, you can have whatever it is, right, that you say, that you envision, right? What would that thing be, right? It's 5 years from today. You can have whatever it is that you want. What would that thing be? That is your big vision, right? Just imagine there is no pandemic happening. There are no fears. There are no doubts. There is nothing, that's holding you back. There is, all the negative energy has disappeared. What is it that could happen for you in 5 years' time? I want you to just take a moment and think about that. Just focus on that. Close your eyes and visualize what that could look like. That is your master plan. You see, most people have no idea what they want, right? Besides that, I want more money, I want a nicer car, or whatever it is that, it's such a shallow thing that most people actually want. And that is because their mind, it's so small, their vision is so small. They're not thinking about the next 5 years, the next few years. They're focused on what they want today. And so because of that, their energy isn't driving them towards what they want in the future, because they actually have no clear picture of what that thing looks like. So one of the first things that I do is I have a journal that I always write some of the things that I want to achieve. In fact, I am so annoying. Oftentimes my husband by my bed, I have several journals. I have journals in the office. I have a journal wherever I go, because I'm constantly building that vision. So I have my journal, and I write in that journal every single day. When I think about my vision, what it is that I want, I write it down. Think about it. Everything began with a vision. Think about the Eiffel Tower. That was somebody's vision, right? Think about Big Ben. That was somebody's vision. Think about some of the most incurable diseases that we now have results and answers to and medication for. Think about COVID and how all of a sudden there is this vaccine that came out so fast compared to a lot of the other diseases that the world is facing. That was somebody's vision. Everything begins with a vision. But it's so difficult to achieve that thing if you don't have that vision to begin with. So I make a conscious decision to create my own vision. There's a quote that I have in one of my favorite books in the world, and it is, write the vision and make it plain so that he who sees it can run with it, right? So you've got to write the vision and make it plain, make it absolutely clear to yourself, and write it over and over and over again, and look at it consistently so that each time you see it, you are motivated even more. And that vision, the more you do it, the more it becomes real. So I also do this yearly. So at the start of the year, I would always say, Pam, what is it that you want to see at the end of the year, right? What are the key things that you want to see happen? I truly believe in the power of visualization, having that vision, writing it down, and in fact, doing it twice a day. So I do this yearly. I also do this monthly. I do it weekly, and I do it daily. I'm constantly writing the vision. And to be honest with you, I'm rewriting the same vision over and over and over again. And this, my friends, is how we have achieved in the middle of a pandemic so many great things that have happened personally for me and in my marriage, in my family. It is because the vision was there from the beginning, and I kept rewriting, revisiting, and just reimagining and believing that it will happen, and these things started to happen. So the second way that I really build my master plan is that I create a digital vision board on my phone. My goodness, that has really changed my life. So I have a vision board for literally every area of my life. So I have a vision board for my marriage, for my children, my business, my relationship with my parents, my siblings. I have a vision board for my health, my fitness, my joy. I have a vision board for my goals, my dreams. I have several vision boards on my phone, and I look at them every single day. What I love about creating a vision board is that it literally takes you minutes to create, and specifically a digital vision board is that you can literally do it by sitting down and doing it. You don't have to buy magazines and cut things up and stick things there if you're not that type of a crafty person, which I'm not. So I much prefer the digital version. But the most important thing about this is the fact that you are adding imagery to your vision. Ever heard the phrase that says that words are powerful, but a picture tells 1,000 words? Yes, that is why I absolutely love adding images to my vision board or to my vision, because then not only am I writing words and writing the vision and making it plain and running with it daily, but I have an image that helps me to really visualize and to see what it is that I am trying to achieve and that I will become if I continue with the trajectory of my goals. So, for example, I know that I want us as a family to have at least 4 vacations per year. Guess what? I think about those things. I've discussed with my husband already, where would we be going to? I'd love to go to Dubai again, to Miami again, and a couple of other places that we would like to visit as a family. And guess what? They are on the vision board already. I also know that as a family, we would love to increase our investment portfolios. So what I do is I figure out the postcode or the area that we would like to buy, and I find an image in that specific area and I add it to my vision board. So therefore, when it comes to investing in that property, I'm not going to be racking my brain going, where is this going to happen and when? No, I know when it's going to happen, and I in fact know the location that we are going to buy from. That is the power of creating a vision board. And so once I have created this, like, I look at my vision board several times throughout the day. Before I go to bed, when I wake up, the first thing I do is I look at my vision board, and just like that, I start to manifest the things on my board. Now, the third thing that I do in order to manifest that big vision, that master plan, is that I ask myself 3 key questions when it comes to my business. One of the biggest goals that you must have in your business is growing your email list. It's growing your revenue. It's increasing your audience. Those are all goals that every single person should have as part of their business. So how do you do that? Well, what happens is that most people get to the end of the year and they look back and they start looking at, what was their revenue, what was their profit, what was their loss, and all of these things. I believe in taking the bull by the horns and being in absolute control of that, so that when I get to the end of the year, I'm looking at a lot more profit, a lot more revenue than I am anything else. And the way that I do that is that I ask myself 3 key questions. And I call these questions the big three, and they help me to focus on my revenue goals. So question number one is always, Pam, how are you going to show up for your audience? So for you, you want to start asking yourself the same question. How am I going to show up for my audience today? Question number two is, how am I going to grow my email list today? And question number three is, how will I increase my revenue today? I find that when I ask myself that question every single day, especially at the beginning of my day, it helps me to keep absolute focus. I'm not scrolling mindlessly on social media, on Facebook or Instagram or wherever else, and just doing anything and nothing. I am absolutely focused, and once I have answered these questions, I take those steps, and before I know it, I am reaching those monumental goals that gives me the results, the desired results that I want, which is to earn my ideal income. So that was part one, which was the master plan. Now let's head into part two. What do you have to do? So you've created this master plan, right? You've done all the things that I have shared with you. Now, how do you make that a reality? Well, it lies in part two. Part two is all about the action steps, right? It's all about the action steps. I heard a quote that I absolutely love, and that is that a vision without action is simply hallucination. I want you to remember that. A vision without action is simply hallucination. So I want you to make sure that you have action steps behind everything that you create this year. So I really think that this section is actually more important than the master plan itself, right? So what I want you to do is, I want you to think about the goals that you have. And what you have to do with those goals is you have got to break it down into manageable action steps. So let me give you a couple of examples. Let's imagine that your goal is to lose weight, is to lose a certain amount of weight. You've already determined what that goal is. Now that is just a goal. Now the action to go along with that is to say something along the lines of, I'm going to cut out sugar, I'm going to keep active, and I'm going to eat vegetables with all of my dinners, for example, or with my dinners at least 5 times a week. So can you see how the goal on this side was, I'm going to lose weight, whereas on this side, you have now figured out the action steps, right? So the goal essentially is your what, and the action steps are your how, right? How do I achieve what it is that I want? So here is another example. Let's imagine that in your business, your goal is you want to hit, $10,000 per month in your business consistently. That is a goal that a lot of people have, and it's a goal that you can easily achieve if you have the action steps to match. So what are those action steps? Well, perhaps you might say, well, the action step is, number one, I am going to create a lead generator so that I can start to build an email list and have a database of clients. Action step number 2 might be that you are now going to create an incredible offer that is going to go out to that audience. And action step number 3 might be to do with your launch, that you are going to launch it either through a webinar or through live streaming or by posting on social media, whatever launch you want to use, launch style you want to use, absolutely fine. But the point of the matter is, a goal is one thing. It's your action steps that actually gives you the how and allows you to achieve that goal. Do you see the difference? So do you want to write a book this year? Well, that is a goal. Your action steps might be something like, I am going to write down 500 words per day towards my book. Perhaps you have another goal of to have a fulfilled marriage, better relationship with your spouse. Well, your action steps might be you are going to prioritize date nights at least once a week. I hope you see what I'm trying to say. The point of the matter is that you have those goals, but you have the action steps to match, which are actually much more important than those goals. Now, how do you track these actions? Well, you can track them in various different ways. For me, at the end of the day, I literally assess my day and I really think about, Pam, what did you do today? And oftentimes I can already see my results because I'm not focusing on that goal per se. I'm really focusing on my actions and doing the things that doing the actions that I said that I would do. And that helps me to really achieve the results. But another thing that I do, which I really love, is that I'm part of a mastermind, which I attend every 2 weeks. Now, inside of the mastermind, we are very results driven and we, nobody holds back. We talk. like really talk in that mastermind and share everything concerning our business. And what I love about that mastermind is that it keeps me accountable, and I know that I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be asked some tough questions, and I better come correct with the right things to share in the mastermind, towards my results. And so because I know that I'm going to have to share with my peers, I focus on my goals every single day, so that by the time I'm attending that mastermind, I am able to share something concrete and that I have moved forward with my peers. So that is another way that I keep myself accountable. Now, how do you put that into action? Well, I recommend that in every single year that you have a maximum of 4 goals per year. Now, you can think about it as 1 goal per quarter. And what I recommend is that for each goal, you have 3 actions for that specific goal. It becomes easier to manage and much easier to track, instead of having a million goals and no actual direction for how to achieve them. Now, finally, so we've talked about the master plan, we've talked about your action steps. Now, step 3 is, of course, what I call your consistency plan. So what exactly does that mean? Well, this section is in 2 parts, and part 1 is knowing the action steps that you need to take and doing those consistently. But part 2 is a caveat, and that is that you've also got to know when to pivot, right? When to pivot. A lot of people are afraid of pivoting, but if there's one thing that 2020 has taught us, it is that oftentimes you have to pivot, you have to make a change. So for example, in 2020 and before, a lot of people who were running their businesses offline were okay and they were doing very well, but they had to pivot and move their businesses online. So it is very important to understand that with consistency, what you have to do is to learn to track your progress. And that is why having goals that are measurable and having action steps that match with those goals are absolutely crucial, so that you can follow those steps and you can track. So I encourage you to track your results weekly. Track your action steps daily. Always look at what you are doing and ask yourself, is this serving me? Is it giving me the results that I want it to give me? And if it isn't, I want you to then continue to ask yourself, well, do I need to pivot? Do I need to change something? Do I need to realign myself in one way or other? Because I promise you, if you're not getting the results that you want, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is insanity. It will not get you different results. In fact, it will keep giving you the same frustrating results that you had all the time. So when it comes to part 3 and consistency, it really is about holding yourself accountable. Now, how do you do that? Again, my mastermind holds me accountable, so I highly recommend that you are part of a mastermind. And some of the best masterminds that I can really recommend that you get into are masterminds that are bolted onto coaching. Why do I say that? It's because it gives you 2 things. One, it gives you community, which is that mastermind. So you have your peers who you banter with, who you speak with, and who you share results with. You give advice to, they give you advice. But you also have a leader, because the blind leading the blind is not the best way to run your business or your life. So you must always ensure that you are part of a mastermind that holds you accountable, but where there is also clear leadership and you know exactly what you are doing, and you have somebody who you can talk to and they can give you advice and you will listen to, because they are an authority figure in your life or in your business. Other than that, it's literally using my daily action sheet, my life by design sheet, to track exactly what it is that I have done, what it is that I have achieved, and what my big picture plan is, and what steps I am taking towards that goal. So like I mentioned earlier, we have a link right below this video so that you can grab that sheet. Make sure you go ahead and you grab that now, so that you can begin to plan your life and plan your big master plan, the action steps to go with that plan, and of course the various things you need to do to be consistent with that. Now, before I go, I want you to comment below and let me know, when it comes to having your big master plan or your action steps, or even the consistency, so part 1, 2, or 3, which of these would you say you struggle the most with, and which of them would you say you find the easiest? I find that a lot of people find the vision part the easiest, which is the master plan, and some people struggle with the action steps. But comment below and let me know. I read every comment and I respond to every single one. And of course, if you have gotten a lot of value from this video, please make sure you subscribe to this channel, turn on your bell, so that you will be the first to be notified next time we release a video, which we do twice a week. And of course, go ahead and hit that like and share, because it really helps this channel to grow. Don't forget to grab the link, the free gift, which is your Life by Design worksheet, in the comment section. I look forward to seeing all of your comments and looking forward to seeing the incredible life that you are able to design as a result of listening to me today. Thank you.